Are we live? Hey guys, this is Bobby Clue with the Somerset-Pulaski County Chamber of Commerce. We're back for another one of our Chamber Spotlights today where we're highlighting our 2025 Chamber of Commerce Businesses of the Year. We got a fun one today. So we're just down from our office. We're here with our Community Event of the Year. I'm here with Mr. Keith Floyd, Somernites Cruise. Keith, you broke a record. You've won this award now. The Somernites Cruise has won this award 2 years in a row. Back-to-back winners for Community Event of the Year. And, you know, year one, you guys, you well-deserved. But let's talk about 2025. The jump.
The jump.
The jump. The jump heard around the world.
Yep.
Pretty easy selection this past year. Want to congratulate you on that. I want to talk about it just for a minute. So,
well, we appreciate you choosing us 2 years in a row. That's an honor, and we don't take that lightly. So.
Well, thank you. It's incredibly well deserved. For anybody who happened to maybe be living under a rock or you know, maybe lived out of the country or something like that.
Doesn't have social media.
Doesn't have social media. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the jump that was right up there.
Yeah.
And if we don't know, that's where the General Lee actually jumped our fountain down here in downtown.
It is, and it's blue. They dyed it blue for the anniversary.
Is that's probably why they did it, quite frankly.
I think it is.
So tell us about the jump and how that came to be. It's you know, that doesn't happen overnight. That's got to take a lot of time and planning.
We were trying to think, or I was sitting in my office trying to figure out what are we going to do for our 25th anniversary, which was last year. We wanted something spectacular, something we hadn't done. And we had all the TV celebrities and everybody here over the years, so there really was not a lot of left of those we could get. We couldn't get Jay Leno.
That would be cool.
We were shooting at, but so we thought, well, what can we do? And I saw a video of the Northeast Ohio Dukes doing a jump in Canada.
The Northeast Ohio Dukes.
So I saw them do a jump in Canada, and on Facebook I was thumbing through one day, and I thought, I backed back up and watched it again. I thought, we might can make that happen. Because we've always joked, for years, we've joked about jumping the fountain. We'd be setting up down there on cruise mornings, and we'd say, oh, we didn't get the General Lee to jump the fountain sometime. We didn't even went so far as joked about getting an RC model instead of a ramp and jumping an RC model over it. So it's always been in the back of our mind because it's the perfect setup.
Sure, it is.
You know, so I thought, So that started the process, and we started working on it. First person I told was my wife, and I said, Letitia, I think we're going to try to jump the fountain for our 25th anniversary. She said, oh, Keith, don't do this. She said, if it goes bad, they'll run us out of town and we'll have to move. I said, it'll be okay. She said, well, let's pray about it and make sure. I said, okay, so we prayed about it. So then I reached out to the county judge's office, and John Alexander, and he took to Marshall, and Marshall was said, yeah, let's do it. So then I called the mayor, and I said, Mayor, this is what I want to do. I said, county judge is on board. He said, well, let's do it. So then I went and saw Leslie and Iker, the tourism director, and her eyes got about as big as saucers. She was about freaked out. And she said, oh, well, let's do it. So then I took it to the cruise board, and I hadn't even told those guys what I was working on. So I said, this is what we need to do. I said, city and county's behind it. I said, tourism behind it. So we discussed it, decided to go home, pray about it, come back to the next meeting. We talked about it again. In the meantime, I called Raymond at Northeast Ohio Dukes and talked with him. So I'd got a cost and kind of a tentative cost of it, and I told the board. He was all excited about doing it. So finally I said, well, let's do it. So I come back and tell my wife, I said, we're going to do it. So I'm
gonna tell you, it was one of the most spectacular things that's probably ever happened in our downtown, and that's coming from the guy that puts together our Christmas parade every year. And I'll tell you, you had way more people. How many people do you think were downtown? Just now, we could talk about, there's two things here. Watching online, obviously, the residuals of that, but just how many people do you think were in downtown that day?
A conservative number is 25 to 35,000. I mean, that's it. And that says, how do you get that number? Well, we know how many linear feet of fencing we put out and how people are packed in every 2 feet, how deep they were. So we could get a pretty good guesstimate on numbers. That's not just a made-up number. I've heard estimates of 40,000 plus. I just don't buy that. But it was a bunch.
To put that into perspective, every year for the Christmas parade, we guesstimate on that 1.3 mile parade route, there's about 10,000 people. So 3 times that is essentially what you had packed in a small area too, I might add. I mean, they were 7 and 8 deep down here.
Oh, someplace they were 20 deep.
I've never seen people on the tops of the buildings. I mean, there were people hanging off the roofs watching
it's
this.
crazy.
It was the most incredible thing. And so then you've got this downtown. Everybody's got one of these, right? They've got their phone up. They're filming this incredible jump that was incredibly successful. We gotta say that. Then online starts hitting. Tell me about that.
Oh, it was crazy. We got done. We had to move the roadblocks and stuff, by the way, that night. I got home about 2 o'clock Sunday morning. I went to bed, had to go to the courtyard to pick up Byron Cherry, Coy Duke, take him to the airport in Lexington. So I picked him up. I walked in that courtyard about 8 o'clock Sunday morning. They met me at the door and they said, "We're on Fox News," and they were showing me their phones. I said, "Well, that's pretty cool." So I load Byron up and we're driving to Lexington. He's over on his phone. He says, "Man," he said, "you guys are on the internet quite a bit." And my wife calls me. She says, "Keith," she said, "that jump's all over the internet." And I said, "That's cool." So I go up and I drop Byron Cherry off at Lexington Airport and come back home, and I'm wore out. I'm laying there around the house, not paying much attention. About 9 o'clock, I'm getting ready to go to bed. So I went in the hall and the cruise phone goes off. I pick it up. I don't know that number. And I throw it back on the table. I said, "If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail." I walk down there. Ding, voicemail goes off. I said, "Crap." Went back, picked it up, listened to it. "This is so-and-so with ABC News in New York. We got to talk to somebody about this jump." So I called him back, and his exact words were, "You guys have broken the internet." He said, "You're everywhere." He said, "You are everywhere." And so I had to get him some information. And I thought, well, Monday morning, I get up, go in the office, and I get a phone call from Spectrum News. And they said, "We want to come down and do an interview about the jump." So I said, "Okay." So I arranged that. In the meantime, Fox 56 News calls and says, "We want to come down and do an interview about the jump." So I said, "Okay." And then later that afternoon, did the KYT 27 calls. "We want to do an interview about the jump." I said, "Well, you're going to have to do it Tuesday. I'm already booked." And I told Phil Pendleton with KYT, I said, "I contacted every Lexington station, told them they should be down here for this jump." I said, "None of y'all showed up."
Yeah.
I said, "You should know better." He said, "I know, we should have been here." So I chastised all the stations.
Well, I bet they'll never make that mistake again if you ever do anything big again. I'll tell you that. It was an incredible experience. It was once in a lifetime. You know, one of the things I've gotten asked a lot is, are they going to jump something else? Are we going to do something else? I don't know if you can replicate that. I feel like that's, when they try to do a sequel to a really great movie and you just can't capture that magic.
It was just, I guess it was a slow news cycle. That helped. Because we wound up on the World News.
Well, it was right next to the Derby, wasn't it?
Well, the Derby, as far as people seeing it, was probably more. Like I said, we were on the World News. I started getting calls. Steve Kelly, the ex-county judge, he called me from Pittsburgh. He said, "You're on our local news today."
That's amazing.
A guy from Chattanooga called me and said, "Man, you're on Chattanooga News." A friend of mine down in Miami said, "Man, you're on the news down in Miami." And then my dad called me Monday morning. CBS Morning News comes on with General Lee crashing through the fountain on that. I thought, wow.
So
then I found out we're on the news in Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, and Japan. And I'm thinking, how many people saw this world ride?
Millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Well, and that's,
I don't know that you can ever replicate that.
I don't know if you want to. I mean, that's probably a heck of a lot of work, too, for you and the, and a lot of people may not know this. It's a completely volunteer-driven organization at the Somernites Cruise. It's not like you're getting a paycheck to do all that. And I will tell you, I don't know if they want to do that again. That's a lot of work.
Those guys were
hundreds of hours.
They were ready to hang me when it's over. And when it all hit big, everybody was proud of it. But
sure.
At the time, Sunday night after the cruise at 2 o'clock, and we're still putting up barricades, everybody's thinking, "Man, this is crazy."
Yeah.
But
well,
it's a one-shot deal. Will it ever happen again? Maybe at the 50th anniversary.
Maybe. Who knows?
That'll be somebody else's problem.
You never say never, right?
Never say never.
Well, we're here at the Somernites Cruise Worldwide Headquarters,
AKA the warehouse.
The warehouse. Can we go inside, check that out, and we'll talk just a little bit. You guys are a lot more than a jump, and we want to talk about that too. So again, it's a garage, but it's a pretty nice garage.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
This is where we keep all our equipment.
And this is where, because you always have your raffle cars, and the raffle truck I see it. I'm looking at it right over there. You've got some, so maybe we talk about that. We've obviously the jump is a significant item that happened last year, but let's talk just about maybe some of the other things that you guys do. Let's talk about the cruise culture. This is the car cruise capital of Kentucky, and probably one of the biggest monthly car cruises in the country, isn't it?
It is. If we're not the largest, we're one of the largest monthly organized events in the United States. Of course, this is our 26th year, so we've been doing this for a long time. But what a lot of people don't realize is we are a nonprofit, so we do it to help the community. Every year, at the end of the year, we'll make some substantial charitable donations. We don't promote it, we just do it to help organizations because we're not about the attention. So we help a lot of those. And that's what it's about. Our volunteer team, they're just so awesome. They work so hard. They come down here in the rain and the cold and the heat. Don't get any attention for what they do. If anything, some people fuss at them because they can't drive through town or whatever.
Right.
But they've been doing this for 25 years. They're the secret sauce that people don't understand. That it's the people that make it work. And we have been blessed with such a great group of volunteers. About 60 of them. That I tell people all the time, if you're down here and you see a man and woman in a yellow shirt, walk up and tell them thank you. I mean, what they do for our community and have done over the years is just, that's one of the proudest things I am about this organization is just what they do and the commitment and the number of hours that they have given over the last 25 years is just unreal. And I have a chance to say, and it's nothing against any other organization, but there's probably not another organization in Pulaski County that has the volunteer man hours that Somernites Cruise team members do. Because we do 7 shows. It's not a one-shot deal. So
let's talk about the the numbers just came out for our economic impact, our tourism numbers. I just saw our Leslie Eichard, Michelle Allen was at our city council meeting just last night. Excuse me, talking about those. I think it was over $158 million in direct expenditures, our economic impact here for Pulaski County. Lake Cumberland is always, big brother in that conversation, but I'll tell you, little brother, I think it's a Summer Night Cruise. I think you said conservatively, it's probably a $15 million economic impact. Is that right?
It is. On most years, that's an easy conservative number. Last year with the jump, it was probably in excess of 20 million.
Right.
And that's a very conservative number.
Sure.
So we like to be realistic.
But it could be a lot more.
It could be more. But it's amazing that the reach that we've had economically, and you figure, even if it was just 10 million a year over the last 25 years, that's 250 million. That's $250 million
That's a lot of money.
that we've put in this community. And I'm not sure everybody grasps just how much that is.
Sure.
That's like having a huge employer out there that's got hundreds of employees. That's the same kind of impact they would have.
Well, when you compound it by 25 years too, that's another big thing. This is not just some fly-by-night organization. You guys have been doing this for 2.5 decades.
I had hair and it was brown when we started.
This is the standard. I'm sure a lot of other cruises around the country have probably come here and set their cruise up by watching how you set yours up.
They have. We have hosted many people from out of state, brought them in here and let them tour, see what we do, and then they went back and have tried to duplicate it.
Sure.
Not only in Kentucky, but in other states.
Well, and car culture, you guys, it's a close group. You guys, imitation's the greatest form of flattery, but I'm sure you're happy to help them. Car guys are, they're cut from a different cloth. They want to help each other, I'm sure.
It is. It's we were blessed when we started this thing. Nobody was really doing what we were doing, especially now on this level that we grew it to. So we kind of created this genre, this style of car show, and really built it to where, on the national side, a lot of communities will have a cruise in, they'll have the locals come out and have 100, 200 cars, and that's cool, but nobody has the celebrities and the giveaways and made it the national event that we do, not just once a year, but 7 times a year.
Every month in those warm months, even some of the ones that aren't warm.
Yes, a lot of them aren't warm, April and October especially.
It's impressive, everything that you guys have done, and I think there was probably a time, Keith, where maybe people didn't fully appreciate what you guys do for this community. And one thing we talk about a lot is they block off some roads, there's a lot of cars out there on those Saturdays, but when you smell those fumes, you know what that smells like? It smells like money. It smells like money. take a deep breath and understand the money that they're pumping into this community, the money that they're pumping into small businesses in our community. And we're incredibly appreciative. And I think a lot of people now really do have a deeper appreciation for what you and the Cruise do. We certainly talk about it a lot. I think a lot of people do. And it's a big darn deal. And we appreciate everything you guys do for this community. Before we wrap this up, I do want to tell a funny story, and I just told this to Keith a minute ago. So we had a couple that came into our office yesterday from Washington State, and we always ask, they're looking for relocation materials. Well, obviously, where are you from? Why'd you move here? That's what we want to know. The reason that they moved here to little old Somerset, Kentucky, was the jump. The jump was the reason. They saw this online in Washington State, and they were looking to relocate. They started doing some investigation on our community. They loved the energy and the spirit they saw in that video. They came down here, checked us out, and guess what? They've moved here. They've been here, Crystal, 4 days when they came into our office yesterday. So, just another kind of a ripple from the jump that we don't even think about. Getting new tax dollars into our community, new people that are moving here just because of that unique event. So,
and that's
very
awesome.
Cool.
And believe it or not, we've heard that for years. People come here, visit, follow the community. They'll retire, move here. We've got several team members that have retired and moved here from out of state that are helping us. And they moved here because of the cruise.
Yeah.
So, that's taxes paid, houses bought, furniture bought, cars bought. People just don't understand the ripple effect that this thing has.
Right.
And it's great. We love doing it. We're blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah.
We're blessed to have the support that we have from the community and the state and from the local governments and tourisms and all our sponsors. People don't understand.
It takes a village to get this thing done.
It's not just us. People don't realize that the city comes here and will help clean up afterwards.
Right.
There's just so many partnerships, and a lot of times I think, Somernites Cruise is doing it, but we are, but we couldn't do a free event without some money. Money comes from sponsorships, and businesses that support us. So it's just all intertwined, and we've tried to intertwine ourselves in the community as best we could, and hopefully the community is proud of us.
Well, Keith, that's why we're here today. Again, I want to thank you for being a supporter of the Chamber. I want to congratulate you on now being the back-to-back winner of our community event of the year. And I just want to encourage you to keep going, keep pushing on this thing, make the cruise amazing, and keep this going. And we're going to keep supporting you. In fact, if you look up there on the wall, that's actually the door that came off
the jump car
of the jump car, the General Lee, right up there. I think all of them have signed it. Did you get a chance to sign that too?
I don't need to sign it. I'm not the celebrity. Those guys are the celebrity.
It's pretty darn neat, though, that you've got that hanging up there. What a piece of wall art.
I negotiated that when we signed the contract.
Oh,
I wanted the roof, but they wouldn't give the roof up.
What an incredible. Got to give a shout out to Ricky Thomas, too. Ricky bought at Wildcat Used Cars. Ricky bought the jump car, and it's actually it's in his possession. He put it in the Christmas parade this past year and brought it through. So that car's still here. It's a piece of folklore that we can talk about. I'm sure there'll be people in many years in the future saying, I was at the jump.
We put it in your
the time capsule. Yeah,
50 years from now.
Yeah, you and I'll be dead and gone. But when that time capsule is opened up, there will be a very cool picture in there. And I think you wrote it something like, yes, this did happen.
Yes.
I don't know if people will believe that or not, but I'll tell you, it happened, folks. So.
Hopefully there'll be some kids that were there when the time capsule opened, and they'll say, I was there, I remember that.
Absolutely.
And that'll be cool.
Well, Keith, thanks for taking the time today to join us for our Chamber Spotlight. Guys, we're going to be back soon. We've got several more of these Chamber Spotlights to go where we're highlighting our businesses of the year from 2025. Until then, have a great day.